We will call the meeting to order, begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Begin with the town administrator report. Bob?
Okay. First of all, the fiscal 2017 budget process is underway. Department heads have their worksheets, and we're asked to submit by November the 16th. We've arranged for individual meetings with each department head to review their requests. I asked the department heads to do a so-called current services budget, meaning no increases except for mandated increases. If you have a membership in an organization and the cost goes up a few dollars, that would be acceptable. Otherwise, level fund. So today and tomorrow, I'll be reviewing budgets with department heads. And according to the manual, budget manual, I will have a draft budget for the Selectmen on December the 7th. Spoke to the town accountant and the treasurer collector today about the tax recap. It is nearly, I guess it is completed as of today, and it's a matter of some negotiations and discussions with the DOR office in Springfield, but we should have the final filing completed before Thanksgiving. I did attend the MSBA meeting in Boston on the 18th, where they gave final approval to the proposed Templeton Elementary school project. The Abrahams Group were in town on November the 19th to discuss the financial records project. They met with myself and with the town accountant and some others, and we agreed on a process, and they're going to get started immediately after Thanksgiving. The Elm Street project is moving forward. Got some contracts to be signed so that the building can be, both buildings can be demolished and the debris removed. It's too late in the season to loam and seed, but that would be the first thing done when the weather breaks in the spring. So.
Will they wait to demolish too, so we don't have a hole in the ground? Or
What's that?
will they wait to do the demolition till spring, so we don't have the hole in the
Actually,
ground?
no, they're going to be doing the demolition.
So then we'll have to make sure we get.
We'll have to get it
hole.
backfilled. Yeah, we'll have to make sure that it's filled, so we don't have any hazard there. But, now, Scout Hall, earlier in the day, I was informed that they had paid a visit or called Holly and said that this company, whose name I've listed here, has an interest in leasing Scout Hall as a company headquarters. Later in the day, apparently they've decided that they want to wait until spring before undertaking this kind of initiative. So I think we're still on the hook to get the building boarded and secured for winter, so, and winterized. So, Windows project will be underway the first week in December, and that's up to date, Mr. Chairman. I did pass out an agenda for the Narragansett Regional School District budget hearings in January.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, we have minutes on the agenda. I didn't see any in the packet.
No, I didn't get to them.
Okay,
I'll
so
have
we'll
to
just
have them
pass
next
over
time.
that. We have appointments.
Minutes.
Minutes.
We have a request to rescind the appointment of A.J. Robinson to the Capital Planning Committee and to appoint Joyce Grukin to the Community Preservation Committee. What is your pleasure on those?
Want me to explain that one?
Sure.
Alicia's been working on the appointments, and she just took it over, and it's really a huge project.
Yeah.
And we had, AJ was voted and had volunteered,
Mhm.
but since then had decided he didn't want to do it, and had said he told the school committee that, but it just didn't get put forward. So he was
Okay.
voted in last time, and they're gonna have to vote for someone else.
All right.
So,
And Joyce will be appointed to a term ending June 30th, 2017, correct?
yes. The 2-year one.
All right, do we have a motion on those appointments?
I make a motion to accept the rescinding of the appointment to the Capital Planning Committee for A.J. Robinson, and a motion to accept the appointment of Community Preservation Committee for Joyce Grugan.
Second.
Second, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I will vote yes, that's unanimous. And action on tree lighting. Alan, you want to come up?
Good evening.
All right, so what's the plan?
Okay, every year, this time of the year is our Christmas tree lighting, as everybody knows, across town. In the last few years, we've coincided with the Jack Frost Festival run by the Historical Society, and also worked with the Congregational Church in Baldwinville. They like to have a little gathering at the end of the whole night. So it's worked really well the last few years. We've always done it on December, the 6th would be this year, it's the first Sunday of December. That's been traditionally the night that the Selectmen choose to use to do the event. So most of these groups have already been working with me for December the 6th, anticipating that the Selectmen are going to go ahead and approve Sunday, December 6th. Templeton Center would be, the tree would be lit at 4:30. East Templeton would be 5:30 because there's so much going on in Templeton Center. I like to give an hour to get to East Templeton. Otter River would be 6 o'clock, and Baldwinville would be 6:30. Of course, the Jack Frost Festival starts earlier in the day with the parade at 4 o'clock down to the tree. So it's a pretty exciting time of year for the community to get together and do several events on one night, and the kids look forward to it, even the big kids. So that's my recommendation for this year. I have talked to the light department. They will be putting the lights on the East Templeton and the Otter River tree this year because they're too tall for us to get to, and we will be doing the Baldwinville and Templeton Center trees. And we will be doing that the week after Thanksgiving so that we'll be ready for the 6th.
All right. Anyone have any questions, comments?
I mean, last year I agree, it was really good having it in combination with the Jack Frost. Yeah, it was just, made it a great afternoon for everybody that was there.
I think we get a lot better participation with some of these other events jumping on board, so I think it really gives the kids something to look forward to.
Yeah, the event on the Common last year, I think I wholeheartedly agree with Doug, was very nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people were there.
They do a good job up there. They do several events throughout the year, and this is just one of them, and they do a real good job. We work well together.
All right, do we need to approve this date,
Yeah.
or we?
I make a motion to approve the Christmas tree lighting on December 6th in coordination with the Jack Frost Festival.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Diane?
Yes?
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I vote yes, that's unanimous. So that was quick and painless.
Holly, is that something we could get posted on web?
Definitely. Do you have a flyer or anything?
I
Split the
do
details.
not.
Yeah, I'll email you something.
There's, it's already, somebody's put it out there.
Near
Yeah,
the
it's
Historical
been out
Society,
there.
but
It'd be good to
I'll
put on
try
the
to get
town
Oh, I might have
Brian.
that. Did you
Brian,
send it today?
email Brian Tangway. No, it's been online.
Okay.
But if
Yeah,
you
it
want
has been
to,
online.
I'll try to figure something out with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We have somebody here from the Narragansett Booster Club. Hi,
Hi, Sue Rader.
and you are who?
Sue Rader.
Sue. What is it you would like to do?
We are proposing a boot drive Thanksgiving morning, November 26th, from approximately 7:30 a.m. to 10 before the football game on Baldenville Road on either end of the school zone and the end of Brooks Road for all people coming through, going to the football game.
Chief, what do you think of this?
I have no opposition to it.
I'm just a little concerned about, there's an awful lot of traffic on that.
There's gonna be a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
But they do it on Saturday mornings in, you know, Tumplin Center, and
Yeah.
they move along.
All right, anyone have any questions of,
Are you going to be wearing like some kind of fluorescent anything?
We hadn't thought that far. Actually, one person had suggested to me the CERT team, which I researched but needs to be enacted. I've learned from either the police chief or the fire chief. They are willing to let us use their cones and orange things if the police chief
Yeah.
says we can.
Well, I have one you can borrow.
My husband has, I have one. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Did you talk to Rich Curtis or Mike Dixon?
yeah, Rich Curtis I spoke with, but he's in Florida.
Yeah.
And referred me to Mike, so I spoke with
Okay.
him and, yes.
That-
Yeah.
That's really my
I would be in favor of it if they get in touch with the CERT team, get cones so that there's a cone in front and behind of the person in the roadway, and they have the vest. I spoke to Holly about this morning, about making some tweaks to the application for next year, so.
It's a lot to direct traffic. Been there, done that, and it's, if you're not used to that, it can be a little, and that is a busy road. So, I mean, did Mike say that he would kind of help you out with that, or just for your own safety?
He actually said if the police chief recommended it, that they
Okay.
would be more, that they would see what they could do. They were more than willing to let us use the cones,
Okay.
and that there are no students doing it, it's adults.
Oh, okay. I have no other questions.
all right,
Do you want a motion?
yeah,
I make a motion to approve the voluntary booth helmet drive for the Narragansett Athletic Booster Club on November 26th from 7:30 a.m. to 10, provided that you speak with the CERT team and have all that.
I'll second that.
all right, it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion, comments? All right, hearing none, Diane?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
I vote yes, that's unanimous. And please cooperate with the chief, and we don't want anybody getting,
I don't either.
okay. All
Thank you.
right. That was quick and painless. Steve?
Yes, sir.
Where can I get in touch with you and I can give you my vest? Are you at the school?
No.
I have her email, if you want me to forward it to
Okay.
you?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep.
So, I believe in your packets, you have some information on the framework of an agreement that we're starting to talk to the school about. But I realized that I should also probably give you an update on where the cable station is at, so if you'll excuse me. Excuse me, Julie. Sorry, I'm bothering you with wires again. So, let's see here. I just wanted to, come on, no, it's there. There we go. Give you an update on, I'm gonna have to hold this together, I think. What we're doing with the station. We've got 8 programs running right now, and I'm happy to say that only 2 of them are meetings. So we've got some good programs about the festivals that have been happening in Templeton, and we're also running a slideshow between the programs, in case you haven't seen it. And I know some people don't get Channel 8 because they're on satellite or whatnot. That shows events, town hall information. We have hours, for instance, when the town clerk moved, that notice is still up there, so people know where to go and her hours. Upcoming events like the Jack Frost Festival we were just discussing, and the tree lighting, which we will also be taping. The town election, kind of a big event. I want to get some more information on that, where and any registration, if necessary, excuse me. This is a concert that's going to be happening at the senior center, so the COA is sending us information each month, and probably about 8 to 10 things that we're putting up there, and we'll just make a nice little poster for them with these slides. And actually, I'm planning to tape this and another concert that they're having as well, and put that on the air. Senior activities, like I just said, and when we went to the Pumpkin Fest, I took video of the parade, but we also went around, my son and I, and we took a lot of pictures of the people there, and it was a lot of fun. So that's a great event that I think as has been discussed here, and I think we can do a lot with that in the future as well. And we're interspersing that with scenes of landscapes in Templeton. I go around, I do a lot of landscape photography, so I put some of that up there too. The woman on the left is Science Girl, and she did a great presentation for the kids there. Unfortunately, I was setting up for the parade at the time, so I didn't get to see her, but I want to get her back, and hopefully we can do a show for the kids on the TV. Some nice birches, and I think the tree in the middle is an aspen, actually. I like that one. I had a good willing model in back of the Historical Society. We had some fun with that. The Historical Society is providing pictures of Templeton in the past, and some also of today, but sometimes there are empty lots and so forth, so, but it's just like running some of the historical photos. With great costumes, and the Pumpkin Fest, and just Halloween in general, I think, is a great time to take pictures of people and to get them up on the site. I mean, the TV station. It may be a website. Otter River, this is actually the part of the river where we would build a park when the buildings on Elm Street are demolished. And we're also running promos of the programs on the station. For instance, the Steam and Engine show that we were at. There's Bob's show, which we taped a few weeks ago, and I think we're going to tape another one next week, Bob, if you want. Bob talked about the town's finances and how that's progressing, and the school and the police projects, and I think even the park in Baldwinville plans. And he was a great person. As you can see over there, we just set up in the corner where Holly is and did it kind of Tonight Show style.
Nice photo, Bob.
And Bob was a great guest.
Ratings weren't so good, though.
You have to do a monologue with the...
That's awesome.
Can you dance, Paul?
And a woman from the Audubon Society came to the Senior Center, did a great hour-long presentations explaining all the birds of New England and which ones migrate, which ones don't, how that's changing, and how to identify them. It's an excellent program. There was also an event at the Historical Society. Virginia Strahan did something on how people mourned during the 1800s, and I thought, oh, this is going to be dreadful. And I went there. It's really, really interesting. And in fact, at wreath that you can see in the upper left of the photo is, I'll try not to give too much away, you should really watch it if you're interested, but they made wreaths of dead people's hair as a way to commemorate them. And it seems really creepy, but they're really beautiful. It's great craftsmanship in a strange way. And the school recently did a short video about their environmental program. They've got these turtles called northern red-bellied cooters, and they're studying them. So we put that up there as well. That's running. And here's our schedule, for instance, tomorrow. This is what we're running. As you can see, we're running programs virtually throughout the day with the slideshow running in between. So that brings us to what the school wants to do, and if you notice during the special town meeting, hopefully this will stay plugged in and not pull out, they were using these little devices, and they're basically just iPads in a plastic case that you can go around and shoot video on. So pass this around and you can zoom and everything. And you know, during the summertime, when we were talking about what the school was going to do, their video production teacher had left. They weren't sure what to do with the program. And broadcasting is, you know, a lot of wires, heavy setup. It's, you know, it's a lot of work, and there aren't too many people interested in that. So we said, you know, why don't we do what the kids already have in their pockets, right, and are used to. So you can take video with anything and set up a multimedia lab to process video from iPads, iPhones, or whatnot. And then they don't have to learn all this broadcasting rigmarole. And they can start producing content. So what they did at the special town meeting, because they were concerned about the overflow audience, they got a couple of the kids to use these iographers, they call them, and they were going to put them in the cafeteria and the gym if they were overflow, and then broadcast people speaking at the microphones in the auditorium so everyone was connected. And they used, I may have mentioned this in the last meeting, they used Google Hangouts, the social media platform, in order to do that. And let's click here. This is actually how they did it, and you can see the gentleman speaking on the top left, I wish I had a pointer here, is actually projected right there, and down here they could just switch the cameras by inviting these other iographers to Google Hangout. So it's really cool what you can do with some of this stuff. And I just wanted to let you know what was going on with that. So I can talk about this, finally, I can talk about this proposal that we're putting forth, and Bob has seen this a week or two ago, I think, and I met with Dr. Hemmon last week, and he has seen it. We're going to proceed, I believe, through the facilities committee with the school, and also the people behind the curriculum, and to see what can be done. But they have a lot of interest in doing this and hosting the station at the school. Whether we want to go there is something that can still be decided. So just in a brief preface to this, in addition to what we're doing with the town hall system in this room, which hopefully we can get the contract set, and then should be within the next month or two, we can have a system in here. We should look to upgrade the station equipment and the control system for that, so that we can do high definition broadcasting at some level. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I also feel that, well, let me just back up a second. We want to reach a cooperative agreement with the school so they can help work on the station and whatever else we want to do with it. Now, I feel an obligation to lay out to the board and to any, if we have a 501c3 running the station, any board operating that, what I feel we can do with this. I have 30 years in mass media. I've done everything from newspaper editing to magazine editing, website editing. And I didn't really realize until I got into working more on the station and producing some of the videos and the slideshows and talking with the school and going out in the community and talking with people there, what we could do with the station. So the vision is kind of three-pronged. First of all, TCTV, Templeton Community TV as Channel 8, can be an informational hub for the town. As you saw in the slideshow, that's just a sampling I gave you of what's on there now. We've got about 56 of those slides running continuously in a loop between programs with the notices for events and other information. We've probably got about a dozen or 15 or so events coming up that people can see as well. And I know there are others out there that we're not even getting to yet. So it can be an informational hub with the programming of things going on in Templeton, including meetings, the festivals that we've been having, the tree lighting, all that fun stuff, and things with the school. And if I should actually back up to some of the programs that we're expecting to get in soon, and this Jack Frost Fest, the concerts at the Senior Center, some veterans activities with John Kaplis wants to come on the station and speak, like we did a program with Bob. And the school's working on Family Fun Night and a pep rally, and in the future, I talked to the teacher there today, we may do something around the school play and the musical, and not just showing that, but how they produce it and how they get ready for it. So there's a lot of really fun things that can be done with it. The problem with PEG stations, PEG, which stands for Public Educational Government Stations, as funded through the cable contract, is this. The cable companies will only allow you a standard definition channel, which is quickly becoming passé. It's only on basic cable. Comcast is experimenting with the city or town of Longmeadow in Western Massachusetts on a high definition channel, but they have already said it's off the table. This is a pilot program only. We're not offering it to any other towns right now. So maybe in a few years. The problem is, I think I mentioned this the last time I talked to the board, was you have to buy high definition equipment today. Mainly because that stuff can't be serviced anymore. You can't buy it. Yet you have to do a standard definition station. So we're going to get high definition equipment for this room, but then it has to be resolution downgraded to standard definition. Hopefully the system we're getting can handle that. I'm told that that can handle that, and we'll be able to make DVDs right here and put it on standard definition. So what do you do with all this high definition? Right? Well, what cable stations that are run by towns are doing is they put up a website. And then you can stream potentially high definition, which is becoming easier to stream over the internet. So just how people get on Netflix on their computers and stream all kinds of video, you can stream high definition select board meetings, or a 2-minute video for a performer singing at the Pumpkin Fest, which may not be suitable to put 2 minutes on the TV station, put it on a website. But a lot of these websites are only done, it seems, for this video on demand for the TV station, which already has a limited audience. What I've realized, and I think what the cable committee has realized in talking to people, is why stop there? If you do a website for a TV station, it's an excellent opportunity to present a billboard for the town. Using some of the photography we saw, video of the events, and showcase Templeton as a great place to live, to visit, to maybe do business with. And it could even tie into the economic development of the town. So I just want you to hold on to that thought as we go through it. And like I said, I think it's my job to lay out all the possibilities of where this can go as we negotiate the cable contract. The third prong, or the third leg in what we can do is called digital signage. And I don't know if you know what that means, but you've all probably seen it. You walk into the school and there's a flat panel display like that, only there's, some wordage on it about some event or where to go or whatnot. You may walk into a building in a city and see a sign on a flat panel TV of where to go. And you can do the same thing. with certain systems. For instance, if we upgraded our control system to one, you could not only output video to a TV station, you can output video and a picture like that to displays here in Town Hall in the hallway to direct people to where you want to go. Or give them information about meetings, information about things that they need to know for the assessor's office, paying your taxes. And it can be a great way, I think, to get people to realize, hey, Templeton's a really cool place. I want to do business here, or I want to visit here, or I may want to live here. And you could also just run the notices that are appearing on Channel 8. So there are certain systems where you can do that, and that could be a good investment for us, I think, going forward. To put some digital displays here, maybe in the school if we go into the room off of the Kiva, and maybe in the senior center as well. I think it would be a great place to show Channel 8 streaming. So that's kind of the vision going forward, and with that, I think that opens up a lot more possibilities for students to get involved with it, because then it's not just about video production, it could be about anything, and for people in the community to get involved. So the goals and objectives for this agreement for the school would be for the school to build a really vibrant curriculum for a multimedia lab. The school, I think, has a great opportunity. Forgive me, it seems more informal if I sit. The school, I think, has a great opportunity to use this to produce a multimedia lab that can help them stand out and to really engage the students in doing some of these things. And I think it can also, I personally think the school should do it and should contribute to a town website, not necessarily the government website. I think, I'm thinking this would be a separate website, but for the TV station or whatever we want to call it, it could be Visit Templeton, who knows. And the station and maybe the digital displays or whatnot in a variety of different ways. And I think they should do it, especially if the town is giving the school a lot of money to do what it needs to do. It's a great way to give back to the community and get the kids more involved in the community. So, excuse me, we've just laid out some basics for if the station were to go into the room off of the Kiva, what that would entail. The school has already offered to host it from there and has promised 24/7 access. They would build some security doors between the Kiva and the high school entrance, so then those can be closed off and secured if people from the TV station were in there at night. And then people from the TV station could access through the back door in the Kiva perhaps, and then use the bathrooms across the hall. And there are also things in here about, how we would use the school's network, the IP infrastructure, the broadband connection and so forth, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of back and forth with that on the school. We'll have to figure out the best way to do that. For instance, we wouldn't want to be under the school's firewall. They have a very robust firewall. They have a lot of complaints of how slow it is because it is so robust. They don't want the kids going on certain sites. But for our purposes, we're going to need a very fast infrastructure there to do that. And the content management agreement is, that they agree to develop and encourage this curriculum in some way, encourage the kids to use multimedia and to take video of things that they're doing. They've already started that. The teacher I talked to today, Chrissy Silver, said, she just put out an email saying, hey, at this event, take video or pictures with your camera and we'll make a video out of it. So they want to encourage doing that in a lot of their classes, I think, just as they encourage writing through, ELA, English Language Arts, in most of their classes. And, you know, I think that, like I said, it can really help to produce content for the TV station, for the website, and a lot of the shorter form videos would play better, I think, on a website. And then they can be compiled into a longer program on the TV station. So the programs that the school could do, classes, field trips, that's already started, sports certainly, the school committee and other meetings, the events, the concerts, the school plays. They could possibly update notices. They still have to produce a slideshow of notices for this TV station. You know, they do it for Phillipston, and there's no reason why we'd give them a half hour to an hour in prime time every night to put their notices out there. They should be taking advantage of that. And the hope is that this will lead to internships, and not just in video production and broadcasting, which is hard to attract kids' interest today, because, you know, they'd rather play with these things, right? So let's let them play with that. But this way we could get them into things like audio. If they're interested in journalism and writing, we can help them with that. Marketing, social media, photography, graphics. If someone wants to design a logo, go for it. You know, here it is. And the volunteers for this, you know, people can earn hours for their honor society requirements. My son did that taping the hearings. I think John signed his form, and he helped me out at the Pumpkin Fest and the Steam Engine Show, and I think Brian Tankway signed his form there. But we would also offer scholarships, and that's in, or we would like to, that's been in our capital plan for internships. Interns who go on to major in something, you know, why not incent them a little bit with, you know, a scholarship to their colleges. So, the rest of this is just really, you know, students in the school can participate in every way, from defining the market to, for doing this, to producing it through the years. And eventually, I think if you did a multi-pronged approach like this with a website and digital signage, you could feasibly be self-funded within several years. If you really gain the momentum from it, why wouldn't local businesses, if you partner with them, want to sponsor something with that? Whether it's on the website, the TV station, or whatnot. So, and we can help the school district with, you know, helping to train interns on this stuff. And possibly part-time jobs. And, you know, Sean's a great worker and does a good job, and we're really happy to have him. And, you know, there can be more people who want to do different things to that. So for the future possibilities, I think, we've talked about building out a studio in the back of the Kiva and walling off that back area that has all the equipment. That could be something down the line. I think that's a good incentive for the school to really run with this and go. I think the school, to make this work, they have to go all in on it. They can't just say, yeah, we want your station, and then nothing ever happens. You know, it has to be a vibrant program for it to work, I think. However, I would, I know something just came over about Scout Hall, but I would also suggest we keep Scout Hall in mind as a reserve. And you can, I know it's been suggested to me, would you want to put a studio there? I went in it last week, I looked around, you can do some nice things in there if it has good bones, you know, if the structure's solid, if there's no mold and nasty stuff. I think you could rip that 70s style paneling down inside and do a nice, something nice that looks like a coffee house. And you could put a really casual studio in there, and even make it a place, a youth center for the Boy Scouts and other groups. And I think the Lions are looking for a place to meet, I was told. So that could be something we may want to hold in reserve. And you could still put the hub of the station at the school for that. I don't know, it's just a thought. I wasn't too keen on Scout Hall until I started really thinking about it and looked at it and saw some possibilities there. So the rest of this is just basically the start of a memorandum of understanding. The town owns the station. There was a bit of a tug of war last time we went through this with the school of who really controlled the station. The Board of Selectmen is the issuing authority for the contract. The town owns the station, as far as I'm concerned. And all the decisions on content should be made by the people running the station, whether that's a board or a committee, answerable to the Board of Selectmen and whatnot, like it is now, or if you want to set up a 501c3 board of directors. And I think moving forward on this, that TCTV should reserve the right to terminate an agreement at any time, especially if it feels the school has not lived up to its obligations to do that and to move the station wherever, and that's just standard contract language. I hope it would never come to that, but you never know. And I would just say, all of this can not just require the school, but can be a community effort. The way I see TCTV right now is it can provide a platform for organizations in the community, the town government, and the school to get the word out about things and to market events and festivals and things like that. So you should be able to partner with, not just the school. We're already working closely with the Historical Society, the Senior Center, the COA, and we want to do more with that. The library, I've talked to Jackie Prime about programs we can run there. The Arts and Cultural Council, but the arts community in general. I think artists and crafts people around here could really use a venue to show off their artwork or their crafts, and a website, like I described, may be a really nice thing to do. And that thing I said about economic development, that can be anything Templeton wants it to be. So I would assume right now a big focus would be on filling, about 80 houses that are vacant. And you may want to be able to tie into the real estate industry. I know people in the real estate market locally who could help guide us on that. And I know people here who would have valuable insight on that as well, I think. And also partner with business organizations like the local chambers, and maybe even Comcast and Mass Broadband for the infrastructure that's needed to do this. So in short, I think you can build something that's really cool. And the next steps would be, I want to call our cable attorney tomorrow and see what we can put on the table from this, from Comcast, if you're agreeable to it, and to really start talking with them in more detail about it. The contract expires December 21st, so like I said, things may happen in a hurry. Right now, the ball's in Comcast court, but my feeling is that they're going to try to wait till the last minute and give us a substandard contract and say, you're in a rush. Deal with it. So maybe there needs to be a little bit of a change of strategy and to say, all right, this is what we want to do. What do you want to do? And they could be a partner in it. I mean, why not? So we're going to move forward, hopefully, with the school subcommittees and see what's possible there with this program. And I can come back in a couple of weeks or whatnot and give you a more extensive presentation of what TCTV can do. I know this is a lot to swallow right now, or maybe you want to digest it. We can talk more about it. Holly and I were talking today about, with the contract expiring December 21st, would we want to schedule a meeting to potentially sign that contract around that time?
End of the month. Yeah.
And it may also require a hearing when Comcast submits its next contract, which usually requires close to 3 weeks notice. So we're kind of under the gun right now. However, I know, and Bob may have some input on this, extensions are common in this process. So we could also inquire about that if Comcast is willing to talk. Personally, I think a negotiation can be done in 15 minutes, if they would only do what we want them to do.
That way with most negotiations.
Yes. So,
And I would also.
that's it.
I think that a hearing, I think we really ought to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, before we enter into the contract, I would like it out there so people know what's in the contract.
I agree.
Yeah.
Bob?
I would expect that Comcast will wait until almost the end of the process. And I think it's certainly important to get a good contract as opposed to a quick one. Just a little anecdote. I once was the town manager in a town where they had the studio in the middle school. And it was an enormous and valuable learning opportunity for the students. It was very popular, particularly students thinking of careers in that area. The station manager and the superintendent, who also had an office in the building, didn't get along. And the superintendent kicked the cable company out of the building. This was so, and they moved the studio about 5 miles away from the school. This was so unpopular with students and faculty and parents that within 6 months, the superintendent was humiliated to have to go back to the board of the cable company and ask them to come back to the school, which they did. That's how popular and important it was as a learning experience in that school. So I think we should make every effort to make sure that we have the hub of the system at the schools. I mean, it's not just the current learning opportunities, it's what will happen, as Steve has mentioned, in the future to provide a whole variety of opportunities for students to learn and to start their careers.
Right, certainly the people that I've spoken with at the school all seem very enthused about expanding the whole process and being more involved in using it.
Yeah, and I know the video teacher there, Chrissy Silver's already gotten interest from an art teacher and from other classes who, they see these and they say, hey, can I use those? And she's just got to, be able to train them and put a system in place and say, okay, this is how we want to use them. Here it is, go to it and get some, not only an educational opportunity, but to provide content for the station and to get programs out there. So does the board have any questions for me
That was my-
on this?
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Are the ads that you showed us in the beginning, is that what's already running? Okay, so the Jack Frost Festival is December 6th, not December 8th. The
It is
date on there is
December 8th?
wrong.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, I just don't want people to have the wrong date. And then,
We'll fix that tomorrow morning.
I know we had a facilities meeting
Mhm.
where we toured the schools, and Dr. Hemmon talked about this whole, are you coming before the facilities committee?
He had
I-
mentioned going
Okay.
to the facilities.
Okay.
He said last week that he would talk to the facilities committee about that.
Yeah, we kind of had like a discussion about it, but wasn't really sure where else we stood with that you were, coming to talk to us, and so it was just a question.
Okay, I would gladly.
I just
come and
sent
talk to
an
the
email
facilities.
to Sue Varney asking when the next facilities meeting was. If you want, I can let you know that.
And I have an email into Steve Henman about,
Okay.
how that went. I was away last week, so
Okay.
we only connected early in the week.
I mean, it was all very positive,
Good,
very positive, so,
that's great.
yeah. Nice work.
Thank you.
One other quick thing. Last week, Bob and I were in Boston at MSBA, and they made great use of a TV like this. It really facilitates discussion. When an article comes up, there's something, a little presentation up on the screen. Is that something we could do here easily?
Yeah, one of the things that we want to do with the system that we're about to purchase is tie into that. So first of all, the agenda can excuse me, the agenda of your meeting can appear on the screen. And then if anyone does a presentation like this, we don't have to focus a camera on the display, which can cause glare, and you've got a weird angle and so forth. That becomes basically like a camera input right into the system. So I didn't think, but we could probably take it to that next level eventually. I wouldn't count on it right away, because we're going to go through a training curve on that, where we, as long as we have material that we can provide for certain agenda items, they can appear on there. So that may require some coordination before the meeting happens to do that.
Any other questions? If not, we'll see you in,
No question, but just a comment. I think you have a really good vision here.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be an outstanding tool for the community, and, with your vision and direction, I think we'll get there.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much
And
for your-
I'm happy to do it for you, and like I said, I feel it's my obligation to simply lay out the possibilities for you, and I wish I had seen all the possibilities for it before, but, almost each day I work on it, I see something else and say, hey, this could, I think the town and the school can really benefit from it going forward. If we all work together on it. If there's one person doing it, it's not going to work. Thank you.
all right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Cafeteria plan.
Section 125 of the Internal Revenue Code provides that communities can set aside monies from employees' paychecks without taxes that can be used for prescription drugs and other incidentals at the pharmacy. The town adopted Section 125 apparently 7 or 8 years ago, but it has not been implemented. Discussing this with the town accountant, we're ready to implement. It is a benefit to the employees that does not cost the town any money. The way it works is that the town determines an amount that can be set aside from each employee's paycheck. I would recommend $1,200 annually. And the employee then can use that money, for pharmaceuticals and drugstore incidentals, even co-pays at the doctor's office. And it's set aside before taxes. There's no taxes on it. Some may choose to just use a service, get a receipt, turn in the receipt. There's also a debit card system that can be used, that a third-party vendor who would run the program would provide a debit card. There's a potential downside for the town and a potential downside for the employee. If the town were to determine that $1,200 would be, or $1,000 would be the amount that each employee could set aside annually, that money becomes available on the 1st of January, the entire amount, even though the employee has not contributed the $1,000. The potential downside, and although the experience in other communities is very positive on this, is that you might have an employee who simply decides to use the amount and then quit or move on or something like that before they had contributed the entire amount of the set-aside. The downside for the employee is that they have to use those funds before the end of the calendar year, and any funds that they don't use become the possession of the town. Now, I've seen this work in a number of communities. It really does work well, and very rare when someone would exploit a situation like that. And again, it's taking the employee's money and giving them 25 to 30% tax cut on those funds. So what we're going to do tonight, or what I hope we do tonight, is I would recommend that we establish a cap of $1,200 for those who choose to participate. You don't have to participate, number one, and number two, if you choose to participate, you don't have to set aside the full amount. You can set aside $100 or $200 or whatever. So it is, again, it's a benefit to the employees and does not cost the town any funds outright. So the town did, you have to adopt it through town meeting. That did happen, but it was never implemented. So I'm suggesting we implement it and set a ceiling. Most towns start, conservatively to see how it will work and how many will participate. In the first couple of years, the pattern is that participation is relatively low, but it grows over time when employees talk with one another and say, hey, this is working well for me. Doug?
So who funds the account? So the employees, they put in, if they do the 1,200, that's $100 a month.
Yes.
So up front, so it all becomes available. This is much like a
Yep.
FSA plan
Right.
in the private
Yes.
sector.
Yes, exactly.
But FSA plans are backed by the insurance provider,
Right.
the health insurance provider.
Yep.
So if you had somebody that had they didn't even quit, they're gonna pay their whole year's
Yes.
worth, but they
Mhm.
use, say, all the 1,200.
Mhm.
Who pays, because that 1,200 has to get paid out
Yes.
when they use it. Does the town?
The
do
town
that,
would be
or-
on the hook. However, what the towns typically have done in those situations is that they've withheld any final payments for those who decide to use the full amount. First of all, using the full amount, I mean, how are you going to spend
Right, again,
that
it may
kind
not
of
even
money
be the full amount.
in a
So
month or
let's
so?
say-
But, yeah,
But your first month you put in 100,
Mhm.
say you've used now 200 in that first amount.
Right.
Where does that other 100, how does that other
The
100
town is on the
get
hook
paid?
for
We
that.
have to do it.
The town would be on the hook for that.
So that it's us
And we
that's
would
carrying
use
it?
our insurance account to cover that.
Right, okay.
So,
So it's us, though, that's carrying it, not the
Yes,
insurance company? Okay.
but again, I mean, there's always risk with every program, but this works well. And any type of exploitation of this is rare. So,
Yeah, yeah. extremely rare. No, FSA is a good plan.
Yep.
It's a nice benefit.
How many employees do we have?
Fewer than 100. My guess is that if we were to initiate this in the first year, we probably would have 15 participants, and it would grow after that.
So all the, there must be a fee associated, okay, so how are we gonna track it? Who's gonna track it?
Our insurance carrier will track it.
The insurance.
Mhm.
In the debit card system, is there a fee for that?
There is.
Per
The employee-
transaction?
No, the employee has to pay the fee if they choose to do the debit card route.
I think that would be the easiest way, but it's not up to us, so.
Or they can simply, you buy something, pair of cheaters in a pharmacy, take the receipt, hand it in.
To the insurance company?
Yes.
So it's not just prescription drugs?
No, it's other,
Co-pays,
yeah, yeah.
has to
But
be
it
Co-pays,
anything that is
pharmacy, yeah, and then other things that you would buy in the
outpatient, or we
pharmacy.
pay for that.
Yeah.
But like FSA, you buy, Tylenol or Advil at the pharmacy,
Yeah.
those don't count.
Right.
It's only prescription drugs, co-pays,
Mhm.
things like that. No, vitamins, aspirin, whatever, none of that stuff counts, even though you're buying it at the
But with this
pharmacy.
particular one, they do count, correct?
I'm sorry?
But with this particular program, they would
They
be
would,
able to buy the
Tylenol and stuff?
Tylenol and that kind of
No.
stuff,
No.
correct?
No.
no, it's prescribed.
That's not possible.
It's only
Prescribed,
prescribed?
right.
So if
Okay.
15 employees decided tomorrow that they,
Mhm.
and at the very, on January 1st, we have to have
Mhm.
1,200 times 15
Mhm.
in an account.
Right.
Okay, so we have to budget that. That's what it all has to be there.
But it
in
gets set up
January.
for automatic deductions from their paycheck.
Okay.
So
And if we use the insurance account.
Yes.
We have
to
some
fund
money
it
in there.
Until the end of the year, which then everybody will have paid in.
Yeah.
So that one will probably, yeah.
So, I mean, I'd recommend that we start modestly with $1,000 or $1,200 as the cap.
I want to say 1,000. No,
1,000.
but, yeah. Do you need a motion? Do you need anything?
Yeah, the Board of Selectmen have to set the cap.
Okay.
I think if we were to start modestly, I think the 1,000 is fine for now. I mean, 1,000 times, you know. Plus, we have to make sure we have it all, but that's my thought.
Yeah, fine with that.
Yeah, if it works out, we can
Yeah, then we can
reconsider-
increase it in a year.
We can reconsider next year raising it.
Yeah, we can reset the
Right.
cap, right?
Right. You can raise the cap annually.
Yeah.
And I think most communities start that way. They start conservatively,
Yeah.
and they have a good experience, and the employees will say, well, I have a big family, and I have kids who go to the doctors all the time. I need a higher cap.
Well, they don't, yeah. The
And it
employee
can-
gets to choose how much to put in there anyway, right?
They do.
So it's
They
just,
do.
that's the cap. You can't put any more than that.
Can't put
Okay.
more.
And it kind of needs to be guided by what our co-pays are. So like emergency rooms,
Yes.
how much is our emergency room copay? 500 or?
Oh, no.
No, that was
no.
inpatient and